grazing sheep and trooping fairies. Of all the things she'd anticipated could go wrong on this trip, having William Arthur Davenport turn up in the same Irish village, the same Irish pub she was in, wasn't one of them. She let her gaze settle on the details of the captivating watercolor. The pink and lavender sunrise above the green hills, the purple thistle along a country lane, the mischievous smiles of the fairies. The book was the work of Kira Sullivan, a Boston-based illustrator and folklorist with deep Irish roots. Lizzie had yet to meet Kira, but she knew Simon Cahill, the FBI agent with whom Kira was romantically involved. Simon, Lizzie reminded herself, was the reason she was in Ireland. She'd heard he was here with Kira on the Beara Peninsula while she painted and researched an old Irish story. As much as Lizzie hated to disturb the new lovers, she felt she had no choice. She had to act now, before Norman Estabrook could make good on his threat to kill Simon and his boss, FBI Director John March. Norman would kill Lizzie, too, if he discovered the role she'd played in the FBI investigation into his illegal activities over the past year, culminating in his arrest 2 months ago on suspicion of money laundering and providing material support to transnational drug traffickers. He was a thrill-seeking billionaire with a long reach. There was no doubt in her mind that he would never go to trial, much less end up in prison. For Norman Estabrook, death was preferable to confinement. He was under arrest now. He'd given up his passport, posted a huge bond, and agreed to stay on his Montana ranch under electronic surveillance. But it wouldn't last. There was talk he was about to cut a deal with federal prosecutors and walk. And when that happened, Lizzie thought, he'd come after the people he believed had betrayed him: Simon Cahill, John March, and their anonymous source. Her. When she'd finally decided to come to Ireland and talk to Simon face to face, Lizzie had created a cover story that would explain her presence on the Beara Peninsula without giving herself away. If not the truth, it wasn't an outright lie either. She simply hadn't counted on Simon's handsome, dangerous British friend turning up in Ireland, too. She had no desire to pop onto Will Davenport's radar. Lizzie decided she wouldn't mind being a tiny fairy right now, or a shapeshifter. Then she could turn herself into an ant. An ant could disappear into a crack in the floor and not be noticed by the man at the bar. She'd done her research. Will Davenport was the younger son of a British peer, the Marquess of something. She couldn't remember his exact title. Peter, Will's older brother, managed the family's 500-year-old estate in the north of England, and Arabella, his younger sister, designed wedding dresses in London. At 35, Will was the wealthy owner of various properties in England and Scotland, with offices in an ivy-covered London brownstone. That wasn't all he did. 2 years ago, supposedly, he had abruptly abandoned his career as an officer with the Special Air Service, the SAS, to make his fortune. Lizzie, however, strongly suspected he had merely shifted from the SAS to the SIS, the British Secret Intelligence Service, popularly known as M16. She did know her spies. Surreptitiously, she tucked a few strands of black hair back under her red bandana. She hadn't tried to disguise herself so much as make it less easy for anyone to describe her later on. Oh yes, I saw a woman at the pub. She had on a red bandana and hiking clothes. If things went wrong for her in Ireland, which they seemed about to do, that wasn't much for anyone, including the FBI, the Irish Garda, and M16 to go on. Lizzie picked up her fork and scooped up the last of her warm crumble, fat blackberries oozing out from under the simple crust of sugar, flour, and butter. She sat with her back to the wall, facing out into the pub.